All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Daily Money Markets. My name is Che Yusuf. I'm the market analyst and the Forex financial market commentator. So, of course, we come again another week with our, what's going on in the market, what is shaking the market at particular time. Of course, we are still in it during the war is between Iran and as well as United States, including Israel as well. We saw a lot of things that have been happening from last week in terms of the Iran war and US, and we reported about it. And now we want to also go through what is happening, from last week and what we think is going to happen this week and what type of assets they're going to be affected. Again, from last week, the biggest asset that they were affected was crude oil and the Brent crude oil. We saw last week the Brent crude oil goes all the way to $120 per barrel. It start now retracing, coming back. I think after Donald Trump has actually, communicating with the companies like OPEC and the European companies that installs the oil to release the billions of barrels, so that people can be able to access. So once that release, Trump announced that release of billions of dollars. I think it was $400 billion, 400 billion barrels of Brent crude oil that they were trying to release it for people to access. So we saw the crude oil and the Brent crude oil dropping from the price where it was from above $100 per barrel, goes all the way around 86 $87 per barrel. So that was the week going on, the while of the war is happening. Iran is bombing AAU, which is Middle East, all the bases of US that are in the Middle East, from Kuwait to Qatar, to Turkey, all those spaces, Saudi Arabia, all those spaces that has whether it's a space where military people, they are living, Iran is bombing there, or whether it's the base that they actually have, Iran also is bombing there. So the Brent crude oil dropped from that perspective, right? Until last week around Friday. I think last week around Thursday, Friday, when we hear the news that there will be actually a speech that comes from the son of Ayatollah. Remember last week we reported that Iran has just announced the new supreme leader, which is taking over from the Ayatollah. So the new supreme leader now was the son of the Ayatollah, which is his name is Mushtaba Kamania Ayatollah. He's the one that becomes the new supreme leader of Iran. So last week, between Thursday, he had his first speech, first time to speak after the crisis, after the war has started, so that he can give maybe a little bit of confidence to Iranian people, and also people can hear what he's saying. And again, for him speaking gives whether confidence or not to the business when it comes to the oil, Brent crude oil, and the crude and the crude oil as well. So he spoke again on a radio of Iranian. That's where they were actually showing the audio that he was speaking. He was not live where people can see him. So from that there was a lot of speculations, from people to say that the Israelis released the statement to say that no, maybe he's not alive. And again, I saw Bloomberg releasing the report to say no, man, Mushtaba has injured, and he's not in a good state, and so on and so forth. But the voice of him was there on the radio, and the Iranian people, they actually hear him speaking. So which gives a little bit of confidence in terms of people from Iran and what they want to do moving forward. Now, most interesting thing that he spoke, he was talking about the continue closing the Strait of Hamas. Remember, we spoke about the Strait of Hamas is the only one of the biggest stream that transport the oil. So billions of barrels, they pass through the Strait of Hamas. Now the Strait of Hamas has been closed, and the leader of Iran, Mushtaba, he said he is not going to stop. We need to make sure that we continue closing the Strait of Hamas. Immediately after announcing that, we can see the instability when it comes to the investors or the business people to this field of oil, right? We saw now the oil price starting gaining again momentum, goes all the way again, touching to $98 from 85 to $98 a barrel, and all the way, breaking the level of $100 a barrel. Currently it's above $100 a barrel. That impact comes from the announcement saying that they're going to continue closing the Strait of Hormuz. So the big one is the big one. Again, of course, Donald Trump had to come and actually, come in as well, so that he can also give the confidence to the businesses that are supporting Trump, or the investors that are supporting Trump, right? So the retaliation there, he was saying that the Iranian, they were asking about the ceasefire, and we saw again the prime minister, the foreign prime minister of Iran, come to the US or European media and announce himself that no, the Iranian, they are not, they don't want the ceasefire, right? They want, if there will be a stop, the war must be finished and everything must be solved. We must have a dialogue, we must have the conversation, negotiation to see where how we're gonna stop the war. They don't want to have a ceasefire. Then after 2-3 days, while they're having the meeting, and the bomb again has started and continued. So that was the story. On the Trump side, people, they said Iranian, they said they were looking for ceasefire. On the Iranian side, the foreign minister saying no, they're not looking for ceasefire. They are ready to fight and to sustain themselves until they have a proper stop of the war. So that's pretty much that happened. But again, from those argument or conversation from both sides, the Brent crude oil didn't drop. It continues to be on the same level and continues to at least grow a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger a little bit. Right now it might be maybe it's $108, $109, fluctuating from those numbers above $100 per barrel. So that's pretty much the story all the way to to the end of the week. Last week as well, we saw Donald Trump actually telling the European nation people, presidencies, and including the NATO, to say that now they need to have the responsibility to help Donald Trump to secure. Hey, sorry about that. I don't know what is affecting me, but anyway. So he asked the European leaders to say, guys, help me to secure the Strait of Hormuz, so that we can be able to, to make sure that the ship of oil must be able to pass, right? Now, the NATO and the European leaders, they had now their own press conference to discuss about that, and we saw most of leaders from European denying that. Like, for example, the Spain president Pedro Sanchez refusing even American military stage in Spain, in Madrid. He refused. He said no. That's same as it started with the United Kingdom. They refused it, American base to land it in their air, or to use their airspace in United Kingdom. They refused it. So it was not that only that. We saw Japan, Japanese, they refused it. Spain, they refused. United Kingdom, Canada, all these countries, they are refusing to be part of this war. They don't want to be part of this war. They want the US and Israel to continue. In fact, the resolution that comes from European conference is that Trump must tell us the reason why I have started this specific war, and so that we can see where we should be able to stand and go forward. So that was about the crucial fight between Trump and the Europeans. Same time, again, Trump is supposed to have a meeting with the president from China, Xi Jinping, but he has cancelled. Now, he didn't just cancel, he started actually telling Xi to say that you guys, you must send your troops to Strait of Hormuz to protect that Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, China, they have over 70%, they're the ones that takes the oil from the Strait of Hormuz, over 70% of it. 70% oil that passes there, it actually goes to China to refine, then it can be distributed to some of the countries around the world. So again, China, before this, when the war was starting, China already announced that they are starting to fill up their bells because they don't know how long this war is gonna stay. So they had, like, an idea that obviously if the war starts, Iran, they're gonna close the Strait of Hormuz, and where we're gonna get our oil, we better tank it up to make sure we fill up our tank and we can be able to provide oil around the country so that the country can still continue function and the economy can still continue moving. So China did that. So when the US tell China to say that they must send the troops, China refused. Because again, think about it. If Iran throw the missile, hit the Chinese maybe troops or a ship, what China must do? Now China must retaliate. If China retaliate, that means China has now joined, the US Iran war. So that's what US is trying to do: bring different types of areas to be involved in this war, so that it can be very difficult when it comes to solving it. So China has refused. We're still gonna see what will go, what will happen moving forward, because they're supposed to have a meeting about the trade tariff. Remember, we spoke about the interest rate, the interest that the US imposed to China was 50%. They said they're going to negotiate it, get to 30%. They're still negotiating. So those are the negotiations that we're supposed to continue when it comes to those engagement. But currently, China, as we said, he refused. Of course, a lot of drones, they're going all the way to hit Baghdadi al-Shaddad hotel, which is one of the hotel that the US, they were actually using. But all right, enough with the war. Let's go somewhere else in terms of how this global financial market are actually moving, because it's not only a war when it comes to this week. This week, it's one of the biggest week that we are expecting a lot of things to happen. While the war, it's actually, happening. It is the interest rate week, right? So from different regions, they're going to report their interest rate. Now, considering of how the war is actually happening, considering the oil itself, it's raising, going all the way up, that will make a lot of things to be very costly or to be very expensive. Now, what other regions they're going to do when it comes to the interest rate? Are they going to hold? Are they going to increase? Are they going to decrease the interest rate? So we are seeing from Wednesday, there's a Bank of Canada press conference that is happening again around 3:45 p.m. South African time, that they're going to report again regarding their interest rate. Canadians as well, the president of Canada refused to be part of the Iran war. He said he's not going to be. Remember, there was G20, here in South Africa, and he was speaking. It's one of the guys that actually speak a very, very big speak. It was a Davos also. After that, there was a Davos economic forum. He spoke again very strongly against what Donald J. Trump is doing from the United States. So Bank of Canada is coming to give us a press conference, so we're gonna hear what they're gonna do with the interest rate. Again, on Thursday, there's a Bank of England, a monetary policy that is coming again 2 p.m. So we want to hear again how Starmer and his people is moving the government, and again, what are they getting benefits because of they're not involving in this war. Again, Thursday, there's a Bank of Japan press conference that is coming, and as well as Fomc, a Federal Reserve, a US FOMC, that is actually coming again on Thursday. Very interesting when it comes to FOMC. But again, Thursday, so there's ECB press conference. So far, Madam Jessie Lagarde is going to be speaking in terms of interest rate of European Central Bank, and as well as I said, Fomc, US Fomc, President Jeremy Powell is going to be speaking in terms of the interest rate from United States. So very interesting to see how the interest rate is going to perform, considering if we took the data of the monetary policies from the producer price index, consumer price index to non-farm payroll, they didn't really perform very well. So we are expecting to see something drastically, whether change, whether pause, but something has to happen, regarding the Federal Reserve interest rate. Another thing just to remind you guys is that Remember, Jeremy Powell has only left with the two conference. So this is his. Then after this one, they wanna only remain with the one press conference. After those two, Jeremy Powell is gone. His term for the for being a president of Federal Reserve of the United States has finished. Right? Again, you still remember that we reported who's gonna come? So Governor Wash is coming in. Wash is a favor of Donald Trump. Remember why it came in? Because of Donald Trump. We say that we believe on why he can be able to cut the interest rate, right? While Jeremy Powell always saying, no, we're going to cut interest rate based on the data collections to understand what a consumer price index is saying, what a producer price index is saying, what a GDP saying in terms of the numbers, in terms of the data. What are again non-farm payroll, number of people that are employed, number of people that are looking for job, what are they saying? So then from that data they can be able to make a decision. While Governor Wash, he want to cut the interest rate regardlessly, for his own reason. So these are other stuff that are actually pushing the market at particular time, and we are expecting a lot of volatility this week to see from the indices like US 100, which is Nasdaq, US 30, Dow Jones, SP 500, S&P 500. You have volatility from gold has been really pushing the price below 5,000. It goes above 5,100, come back below 5,000. We don't know exactly why it doesn't have the volatility at this particular time while the war is happening, but again we'll see if the movement of gold is going to happen. But this is a big week. This is interest rate week while the Iran-US war is happening. So that's it when it comes to the global politics that affect the financial forex markets and what is happening this week. My name is Che Yusuf. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, click that button. Thank you very much. I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you.